Hi everyone! We're back here in Bayfield, Colorado to meet with Andrew Trujillo and see what he has done to finish up the growing dome. If you remember back to a few videos ago, we looked at how he selected his site, how he did his site preparations and foundation work, constructed the greenhouse, and we also discussed some of the customizations he had made, being seeking the above ground pond down and also building a deck above it. So let's head on inside and see those finishing touches that he's done. Hi Andrew, thanks so much for having us back out. I see you've made some notable changes, the biggest being the beds. So let's start there. What do we have going on?
Yeah, definitely. These beds are from Backyard Boxes. I chose them because they're very beautiful. They were easy to install and they come in various colors. So I chose this design, one for the labor. These were a little bit easier to install. Because each section comes as one piece and then you just kind of screw them together, which is really nice. They're designed that way. They're built off like the exact dimensions of the geodesic shape. So they're really easy to install, really easy to put together. And the earth bags were just going to take up a little bit extra room that I didn't want to lose inside the dome, because each wall would be about 12 inches and, you just lose that much more growing space. So these are a little bit more minimal, but still sturdy. So that's why I went with these Backyard Boxes. I filled these beds with a mixture of Hugelkultur, compost, and some native soil.
So you said that you had done Hugelkultur to fill the center bed. So what does that entail?
So Hugelkultur, basically you're going to take a lot of solid organic matter, logs, branches, twigs, and you're going to kind of line the bottom, 8 to 12 inches with that. And then you fill it with your compost, native soil. You can do straw bale on top of that, then, get those inoculated and decomposing, and then you can add your soil, and then you can do a cover crop of sort. So yeah, that's...
So it doesn't require as much of the amended topsoil right off the bat. It kind of fills in some of that space.
Yes, that organic matter will, take years to break down. So it gives you a nice full bottom portion of the beds. That way you don't need as much, soil to fill them and start growing. Eventually you will have to kind of replenish as it settles. But with the Hugelkultur, it could be...
And it kind of adds the nutrients back into the soil as it decomposes, right?
Yes, so Hugelkultur is great for gardening. It holds and captures, stores moisture. It allows for good aeration, a lot of water and oxygen getting down into the soil. Gives, places for all those microorganisms to move and live and create colonies. And
the soil is alive!
Yeah, so... as you notice, I do have quite a bit growing in here. Lots of leafy, cold hardy greens. There's some beets, some various kales.
So we've got some onions.
Yeah, carrots, some onions.
What are these trees that we have in here?
So yeah, trees. I do have 2 cold hardy avocados and 2 blood oranges, and also this fig that I'm still trying to figure out what to do with. I'm not sure if I want to plant it in the bed or just keep it in a pot. I'm still undecided.
Yeah, play around with the idea, see where it likes to be. I've learned that the plants have particular locations they thrive in, so that's important to think about too.
Yeah, for sure. And then just to kind of mosey back over here, for the citrus and the avocado, basically around this kind of section of the Backyard Box grow bed, I amended this area around these trees a little differently. So I did a blend of like the Hugelkultur, but I also added some sand for drainage, because the citrus and the avocado, like well-drained soil. Mm-hmm. So I kind of amended it 50-50 with sand and compost, just in these kind of areas where these trees were planted. So
is there a reason that you have 2 of each variety? Is it for pollination and fruit production?
Yes, so these are both trees, the avocado and the blood orange are self-fertile, but if you have 2, then they just will produce more fruit eventually once they get established. just because they have that cross-pollination
Relationship
with each other. So that's why I chose to put 2 of each in the dome.
Awesome. And I see we've got lots of leafy greens. It is important for you guys to know that it is February right now. So it is still winter time and we still have all of this lovely growth going on. I did notice there are some little critters crawling around in here.
Yeah, so yeah, lots of leafy cold hardy greens. I love Swiss chard. It's just one of my favorite greens to grow in the dome. It just does so well. It's very prolific. It's a cut and come again veggie, so you just harvest the outside bigger leaves and then it just keeps on growing from the center. It's very nutrient dense, great for, you know, recipes, anything you put greens or spinach in, it can go in. But yeah, we got ladybugs going. I did have a little infestation of aphids that I had noticed, so I came and bought some ladybugs and put them in here because they're just great at dealing with the aphids.
They seem to be doing their job.
Yeah.
And I see we've got some little kales and other things that are kind of popping up. Did you direct sow these beds?
Yes, I direct sow pretty much all my seeds. I don't really like doing starts. I like to just put it in the soil and, you know, keep the soil moist.
And then thin as they come up.
And then just kind of thin as they come up. I had initially planted this bed a little too thick. You know, us gardeners, we get a little excited about our seeds when we're planting, and
I know how that goes.
But yeah, so I had planted. Everything came up. It was a jungle in here. I had shoulder surgery, so I was kind of out of it for 2 months, not able to get in here. So I had to come in here, do a lot of thinning.
And call in the recruits.
Yeah, and call in the recruits, the ladybugs.
Do you want to talk about the importance of thinning plants a little bit?
Having your plants spaced out nicely just helps airflow between the plants. You know, you want a lot of nice air movement because if stuff is just too bunched up, too close, you tend to get a lot of like fungus, disease, molds. You get infestations like aphids. So it's just good to have a nice spacing between your plants.
Yeah, especially during this winter time, avoiding the excess moisture on the leaves, especially going into night. That way we're not dealing with freezing and sad looking plants in the morning. Everything in your pond looks really happy. Can you tell me what we have growing in here? There's some different stuff from the last time.
Yeah, so I think it was looking a little bare last time you were here because I had a kind of a big bloom, and then I was actually selling some of my pond plants to various other grow dome owners. But yeah, as you notice, there's several of these floating islands that I have in the pond. I bought off of Amazon for fairly cheap, and the reason I have these floating islands is just to protect the plants because I do have goldfish in here, and if the plants weren't protected, they would just kind of eat them all, just consume it all. So I want to kind of protect it and actually like grow and harvest these plants. I have some duckweed, I have some azolla, I have some water lettuce, some frog bit, I have some reeds back there. And the cool thing about, like I said, these floating islands is it not only protects your plants, but they can kind of grow down through it because it's just a mesh.
Oh, okay.
And then the goldfish will kind of come and prune those roots, and so they're getting food either way. You know, through the mesh, or if me actually just like harvesting this duckweed and azolla and just putting it right into the water.
So these islands are another great way to kind of contain the species that might spread a lot, which the duckweed and azolla can quickly take over your whole pond. So that's a great option. And then you mentioned that you can also kind of use this to feed your chickens.
Yeah, so the duckweed and azolla, it's just a really prolific grower. It can double its biomass within 24 or 48 hours. It's very nutrient dense. My goldfish love to eat it, so it's kind of like a sustainable food source for them. So you're not having to, buy lots of other food. But yeah, I plan on, once I have like an extra abundance of this, I plan on doing some specifically for my poultry, my chickens.
Awesome. How many goldfish did you start off with in this pond?
I believe in this pond I have around 30 goldfish
Okay.
right now, but I think I could probably have like 200 or more if I wanted.
Yeah, they reproduce pretty quickly too. So that's one thing if you're gonna get goldfish, kind of keep that in mind. Maybe start small and then they will make more themselves. What's going on the pond rail that we have up here?
The just have a lot of plants that I've propagated. There's just some comfrey, and there's some actually some turmeric. There's actually some sweet potatoes. Just various things that I like to grow. The comfrey is just an awesome permaculture plant that I kind of spread around my yard. So it's, yeah.
Yeah, we learned from one of our friends at Heartwood Co-housing that you can use the comfrey, and she has like a big tube that she has it in, and it warms up, and then she takes out, she calls it black gold from the bottom, and uses that as like a fertilizer throughout her garden. So lots of options for propagation, and this is a great place to just keep your plants that are starting out or you've just recently transplanted, because this is going to be the warmest spot in the dome, especially in the winter.
Yeah, and it's just a nice place to, yeah, start things and kind of keep it out of the way. You know, if I didn't have that platform, you know, all the plants and buckets and stuff would be down here on the floor and you're tripping on it. And I like to just kind of utilize, you know, because this is a big area that the tank kind of takes up. So the more you can utilize the space, the better. And I do actually plan on doing some sort of like roller system on top of that, you know, so I'm not having to kind of climb up on there. I want to just be able to like push from one side and have the, you know, the pots and whatnot, you know, come off of one end just for easier access. So just, I'm full of ideas.
Yeah. These fans look new from the last time we were here.
Yeah, so I installed these two fans underneath the deck here. I figured it was just like a really good spot to put them because, as we mentioned, their air and kind of space right here by the pond is going to be the warmest in the wintertime. So I wanted the fans kind of above the tank to push that warmer air around the dome. And I have them face the same direction, so they're just that bigger push in kind of that circular motion. You get that kind of circular motion of air ventilation in the dome. So
yeah, interior airflow is just as important as bringing in the fresh air from outside.
yes.
I love hearing about all of your ideas and that you're constantly growing and evolving within the space and that you're enjoying everything with your friends and family. And now you all get to enjoy the fruits of your labor.
As you know, I'm Green Thumb Daddy. Daddy comes from having 3 children. I've been a dad for almost 13 years now, which is just kind of blows my mind how time has gone so fast. The most empowering thing about having a grow dome is just the ability to sustain life 365 days a year. I'm able to, you know, grow and provide nutrient-dense greens and various veggies for me and my family and friends, neighbors. Having this space to be able to kind of escape to put my energy towards. I love growing, I love soil, I love just creating. It's just kind of an outlet for me to be able to come in here and enjoy the space all year long, even in the dead of winter when it's cold out. You come in here and it's thriving, it's alive. You know, right now it's 80 degrees when it's, you know, maybe 30 degrees outside. Speaking to that, just having my family be able to kind of come into this space and learn kind of what my passions are and teach them about, you know, organic gardening, that the soil is alive, just how to take care of a living being of sorts, how to plant a seed and watch it grow, and just, you know, respecting that life, that creation, and just having this space to come into and, you know, just kind of be at peace, you know, just enjoy that part of it as well. And yeah, just investing in their little lives, just filling them with nutrient dense food. And yeah, I feel this growing dome is just kind of encompasses all of that. And the hope is, you know, just some of that will kind of pass down and rub off on them. So.
Thank you so much for joining us today and following along the journey of establishing a growing dome from basically start to finish. Now we get to enjoy this wonderful meal that Andrew has prepared for us. And if you'd like to continue following along with Andrew and keeping up with those great ideas, you can join our Facebook group, Growing Dome Enthusiasts, and Andrew is a very big part of that. He is also known as Green Thumb Daddy on all social media if you'd like to follow along. Thanks for having us, Andrew.
Yeah, thanks, Shelby, and thank you to the Growing Spaces team. It's always a pleasure working with you. Oh yeah, this is just super.
Quinoa, rice. This is great. My husband would love this too.
Yeah, I cook the rice and quinoa separate, and then I just kind of combine it after they're cooked. And
Okay.
the cayenne and just some minced onion. Pretty simple.
Now
Like,
do the happy dance.